rub your hands together for the most awesome, most amazing, the all-around most in life. Neve Lapel.
Cheers.
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 Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Peace, Love, and Wine podcast. I'm here with fellow Wine Mermaid, Linda Jo. Yay! We're doing this live in person.
Finally.
We've been trying to get this for months, and we finally got together to do brunch and a podcast. So it's a pretty good day. And Linda and I met on Instagram, actually, through Instagram, because I stalked her and the amazing project that she's working on, which is Accidental Joy. Which, tell us about that, Linda. What is Accidental Joy?
It is an original dark comedy musical about this 40-year-old woman who is living a life of regret and is basically your disgruntled underachiever. And she decides that one day this spiritual guru that comes into town, she wants to follow her and she wants to become just like her. And through that journey of trying to become a spiritual guru, it's the hilarity that ensues. So like she meets she sees the love of her life, come back into town. There's maybe like 4 or 5 accidental murders that happens. Exactly. It's the things that we can relate to. No. So yeah, it's just a very funny, endearing, dark comedy, and also something that speaks to diversity, inclusion, and self-love in 2019, which is important themes. And yeah, it's going to be awesome and fun and amazing.
And we're going to hear some snippets from some of the musical, right?
Yes.
We'll get to share some of those today.
Absolutely.
That is fun. I'm so excited. I have gotten the privilege of listening to the songs and the soundtrack, and it's super fun and catchy, and there's lots of different types of music in it. First of all, so you're a producer in this show, but let's go back to the show in a minute. But tell me about you. Like, let's talk about you, because I feel like you're the woman of 1,000 hats.
Oh, yeah.
And very little sleep.
I think you explained, or you described me pretty well. Yes, I do a lot of different things. I guess I am your versatile, do-it-all producer. My background is film and television. I come from the entertainment industry. I've done everything from working as an assistant, moving up, in the business, and working in entertainment and red carpet, and producing for everything from trade shows like Comic-Con to E3 to working with the Oscars and working with the NBA and working with, I'm just trying to think of all the stuff I've done.
The cycling tour.
Exactly. The Tour of California, which is what I'm doing right now. I also do stuff with, I'm trying to think, basically a million things.
And you went to school for some of this, right? So you went to USC and NYU, is that right?
So I went to USC for my undergrad. And then after I graduated from SC from film and television, I was at the Cinema TV School, go Trojans. And then I got, basically I went to NYU for a little bit to kind of pursue deciding if I wanted to do a master's or produce more, or kind of just figuring out my next steps. But I love New York. New York's basically me. It speaks my language. Yay, New York. Born and raised in California, but New York just speaks to me on a different level. I love the energy there. It's me, essentially.
Yes, I love it too. New York has this magical quality about it. And it's funny. I think you have to have sort of grown up, if you're not from there,
right? You
have to have grown up with this, I don't know, this like mystery about it. And that's part of what makes it exciting. Obviously seeing it in films and things.
It's so different.
Yeah. But I lived there for about a year, and you did live there too when you went to school there, right?
Yeah.
And your ultimate goal is what? Oh
my gosh. I would love to be bi-coastal. I mean, when I was there, the first snowfall, I'm like, F this. And I came back home. being a SoCal girl, you can't, that snow, I don't even know how to start. You have to really live through it and plow the snow, and you really have to go through it. But that year that I lived there, it was the massive, like the transit strike. So subways, buses, taxis, everything was shut down.
Wait, what year was that? Because I feel like I was there then too.
I don't remember the year, but that was like the big one that when you bring it up, I think all the New Yorkers know. And that year also my wisdom tooth came out.
Oh.
And so it was like my first snowfall there, and I had to walk from Union Square all the way to Queens.
Oh my gosh.
Or pay like $400 for one of those unmarked taxis.
Yeah.
And so I walked, and then I didn't realize after I got my wisdom tooth pulled out, I forgot, crap, I have to walk back. So once
I'm stoned right now.
And after that, I'm like, screw this, I'm going back home. When I make money, I'm just going to come out here for fun and be bi-coastal. So I love New York. I love the energy. And I think when I'm there, it's so nice at 4 a.m. Like, oh, there's other crazy people like me not sleeping and just working or having fun or doing something, being productive and in the kind of way I like to be productive. So I love New York in that way. But in my heart and soul, I'm SoCal girl. So
I feel like you're one of those people who plays extremely hard, but also works extremely hard. And so when you say you're kind of productive, what I am picturing what you mean by that is I'm going to work really hard all day. Then I'm going to go
play hard all night.
And then I'm going to work again in the middle of the night once I'm done playing.
That's exactly who I am.
I'm going to sleep for 3 or 4 hours and then I'm going to go back to work.
I admit it's not healthy, but it's not something I decided and changed overnight. It's just who I've always been since I was a kid. And so you're right. Like I'll work. I have a full-time producing job, a day job. So I do that all day. And then when my day job ends, my entertainment, my work job starts, my creativity, my passion project starts. Thank you. And that's all night. And again, that's like a newborn. You don't know where that's going to take you. And then also that I also try to juggle my personal life. So I make sure every day I have a social life or do something. So then I'll go out and have fun or go to dinners or go to happy hours. And that also ties into work because you're meeting somebody who can, introduce you to somebody else and then from there, once the fun time ends, then I come back and I go do more work. So for me, it's a lot of work hard, play hard. It's like a 24/7 cycle.
How do you manage? I mean, I know you have a lot of energy. You're just one of those people who has that sort of built in and seems to need less sleep. How do you listen to your body and what signals do you get that you need to slow down?
Well, I know my body's telling me. In terms of listening, I've actually honestly been a little bad at it lately. So before actually this musical, which is like my big passion project right now, Accidental Joy, go to www.accidentaljoymusical.com. There's a little plug. Before that, my schedule is so hectic that I really live by my calendar. So I plan things ahead. I schedule things in advance because that's the only way that I can personally juggle all the stuff that I can do. Day job, passion projects, other projects, But then with this musical that I took on, that I'm co-producing, it's a newborn essentially. And it's as an entrepreneur, it can take you a lot of different ways. And I'm still in that first year. And so it's a lot of relearning, what I thought was so ingrained and that I knew. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to live and die by my schedule, but it changed. And it's so funny because when my friends are talking about, having a newborn, I go, me too. I know what you're talking about, in my way. And so through that, I think it's for me being aware that I've forgotten how to listen. Like when my head starts to hurt or I'm like, why am I feeling all of a sudden, I've never had anxiety issues, but I'm like, I feel like anxious. And so I actually, I took a really great fempreneur class with Tiffany here. And it was a really great time when that came up. And as you know, and I told you, because it reminded me to slow down a little bit more and to be mindful, like don't work on Sunday. Sunday is my one day that I spend or try to dedicate to family time and with friends and not have to work. I mean, I'm always working, but it's I think just being mindful. And no one's perfect. And it's more, I think now I'm realizing, okay, I have to kind of implement and go back to that because before last year, it was great. Like every Sunday it was great. I did my thing with my family and friends and didn't have to work or didn't have to think about work. But now it's a different scenario. And I think in truth, you can't really have it all, right? People say you can have it all, but it comes with a sacrifice. And so for me, it's prioritizing, realizing what is important. And yes, my project is important, but also my health is more important. So it's finding that balance. And I think for me, it's trying to re-find that balance.
Mm-hmm. yeah, sometimes we forget, and then we have to reboot, right? So
or you think you know everything, and then you're like, oh crap, I don't know everything. So just being flexible.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a huge part of it. Can we talk about the Fempreneur reboot a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did this program, and Linda was one of the first ones to go through it, and of course she went through it with flying colors because that's how she does everything. She just like puts her all into it. But you were really great at it because
I was conscious,
and you were conscious. And let's talk about what it was and what it is, because I'm going to be launching it again to the lovely ladies out there who need to slow down so that they can get that balance back and be held accountable to actually take care of themselves, because we forget to do that. Can you talk a little bit about like just what we did from your experience? And
it was great because Tiffany, we did it through Zoom, and it was a video conference call, 30 minutes every Sundays, a designated time, and that actually helped because keeping the consistency is really hard when people, especially you're busy, when you have a lot going on. It's finding that time and also committing. Hey, every once a week at this specific time, we're going to all check in. And it was nothing too much where I had a lot of homework. It was just checking in saying, hey, how was your week this week? How were you mindful? And, what is it that you're going to focus on for this week and the coming weeks ahead? For me, it was at that time, I think we did it a couple months ago.
Yes, we did it January. So it was 8 weeks starting in the first week of January. Yeah.
That seems so far now. But it was a good time because it was right at the kickoff of 2019, the beginning of 2019. And it was, for me, it was like, okay, I'm feeling these things that I've never felt before. Trying to manage as an entrepreneur, a new project from scratch, something that I really want to grow. And, for the first time in my career and in my life, feeling like anxious in a different kind of a way. And so for me, it was being mindful and brought it up to the group. And Tiffany really, you helped, let's address this, and let's this week focus on one thing you want to, whether it's being anxious or you want to, focus on it's managing your calendar. Somebody else had brought up, I think I give too much of myself, but I'm not making time for me. So this week, make time for yourself. Do one fun thing this week. So I think it was nice, and it was great challenging ourselves to do something different and out of the box. For me, it was like just being mindful that, okay, I can't get everything done in one day. And knowing that not having those answers is okay also. Because a lot of it is, I don't know what's going to happen.
And then taking sort of responsibility, though, knowing that like it's okay if it doesn't all get done, and
it'll get done eventually.
And you're dedicated to be deliberate and conscious about your self-care. So like you're doing at least something every day, right?
Right.
And that was part of the program is like, okay, it's cool if it's only 1 minute a day, but it has to be deliberate, right? And so I feel like it seemed like everybody in our group
everyone did really well. Mm-hmm. Everyone was very mindful. And it was really great. And I thought, and that's the thing about life is, you have to be all in, and then in human nature, your life takes over and, you forget. But I reflect back on it, and I remember like what I need to do. But like right now for me, especially during crazy times, it's busy, like work season. So you kind of have to it's almost like putting it aside a little bit, but knowing that, okay, I have to get back to it. And I have to know that it starts from me. I have to be accessible, because the way I can be accessible is I have to take care of myself first.
And did you find we had an accountability portion, right? Where we checked in daily?
Mm-hmm. We checked in daily with a partner that Tiffany assigned, that you assigned.
And I may do it differently next time, but definitely I think that was very helpful. I felt like it was not only helpful for me to help you ladies, but also for me, because as the facilitator, I had to be also minding myself and my own self-care. So
I think it was a little difficult for me at first because I'm a good communicator, but to check in with somebody every day it takes a lot of work, but the moment you do it, it's like, and then you forget. And then I start to forget, okay, it's okay if I'm not always the strong one. It's okay to be, because we're not always strong, and to be vulnerable, to feel like, okay, well, I can't do it all, so I need to ask for help. Then after like a couple of days, like, blah, 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 I'm like, I need help with this, I need help with that. And it felt good. Awesome. It's like breaking down walls. Mm-hmm. Let's not talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, this is just brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun because it was neat to be able to support each other in our efforts to take care of ourselves and slow down and make that be okay.
Yeah.
You know, everybody the hustle is really big right now, right? And that's great until you collapse and break down.
Exactly. It's really hard for me personally to slow down because it's just not my nature. I've always, and it's for, like you said, it's quote unquote but I've always just been this way. And so for me, if it takes slowing down to do a class or an 8-week session like we did, or paying something, I'm all in, because it is not something that and I know anybody who's listening that knows me, they just know this is LJ, you know? I mean, I am notorious for like you said, work hard, play hard. I do like 5 things in the evenings. I don't sleep. I do sleep a little bit, but I've just always been like this. And this energy is just who I am. Doesn't mean that I'm not tired or stressed internally, but externally, this is just who I am. So I like programs like that where I can, it's another checklist for me, but it puts me in check. Like, I have to do this and I have to do it well. And hopefully through that, it becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm. Which I think, what do you think about the timing of it, the 8 weeks? I feel like that was a good time for length of time, right? Because it takes a while to build that habit.
Yeah, I think 8 weeks was perfect. I feel like if it was a little less, then, it could be too short. You don't really get into more in depth into things until like the first couple weeks in. So
what kind of things were you focused on? Like, did you have a particular goal that you were looking to do in terms of an activity, a self-care activity?
No, I mean, activity wise, I always dedicate each night to doing a couple hours of like me time. So for me, it was more being able to shut off, which I'm not in, as you know, entertainment, you can't really shut off, and everything is urgent. So it was just being mindful, like, okay, in my 3 hours of my self-care and being mindful for myself, I'm not going to check my email. I'm not going to glance over my phone. And because then you can mask it as like, oh, I'm doing something for myself, but I'm also looking at my phone.
Right.
Then you're not being mindful for you. So for me, it was essentially just saying, hey, for those 3 hours, I'm going to shut off. I'm not accessible, and being okay in the fact that I'm not accessible. Mm-hmm. It's when I travel internationally, it's great because you don't have reception. Then it's like, okay, well, I'm really not accessible. Right. But here, when you're local and domestic and anyone can, reach you, it's hard to just turn off your phone.
Right. It's those boundaries.
I mean, I'm happy for people who can, but for me, a lot of it is just my industry. It just doesn't work that way. We live and die by our phones and our emails. And also, like, granted, our society now is that way too. So it just makes things a lot more difficult, but, just trying to find that balance.
I remember going through it and you're like, I turned my computer off before midnight.
I did. Oh my gosh. At first I was excited when I said it, and then I'm like, oh my God, I turned off my phone and my computer before midnight.
Well, it was a fun experience because I felt like we all gained mindfulness and personal awareness, as well as just growing those habits that we want to continue to maintain so that we can continue to be a well-balanced person. Right?
And then from that, it was helpful for me because I was able to apply that towards, going back to Accidental Joy, the musical. So being able to be less intense, I guess that's for lack of a better word, or less frustrated, and that comes with the territory of being an entrepreneur and trying to run your own thing.
And having to just, like you said earlier, be flexible and be able to pivot and kind of go with the flow. And
exactly. When normally you would be able to, but then when you're frustrated and when you're tired or exhausted, it's just, you have less patience. And so that shutting off, even if it's once a week, and checking in, it was a good way to kind of kick start the Monday. Mm-hmm. Going, okay, today I'm going to be more mindful. Today I'm not going to like yell at somebody because I'm frustrated. Day by day, I'm not perfect.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. So accidental joy. I can't say that word today.
Accidental joy. I'll say it.
Accidental joy, because my joy is, I'm trying to be so purposeful about it. Maybe that's why I can't say it. Or maybe it's the bubbly. Who knows?
It's probably the bubbly. It's what time is it today? It's Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So why is this project something that you got involved with, and why are you so excited about it?
Well, I'm so excited. Well, let's start with how I got involved. So this was right around this time last year. And my co-producer and really good friend, Marcus Joel Smith, he wrote the project, wrote the story. And then there's another part to our creatives, Robbie McDonald, who composed the music. And
Fabulous,
so,
Robbie.
Yeah. So Marcus and I knew each other the year prior. And then I actually just went to his show in April to just support as a fellow artist. People who know me, I'm always the first one there to support you. And I saw the show and I listened to it and I watched it and I just, oh my gosh, the music was so good. The story was hilarious because, again, it's about this middle-aged sort of, we're all there trying to find purpose in our lives. And you think like, okay, I'm 40 now and
oh my gosh, have it all figured out. Right?
Exactly. But every 5 years we come to this point where we're trying to figure it out. You don't have all the answers. And so when I heard the music and saw the story, and it was dark, and I love dark comedy, it's so much fun.
It's naughty too.
It's very naughty. It's very adult themed. Don't bring your children unless you want to have discussions. Conversation. No, actually bring your children. Bring your children, please. Bring your children. And I saw it and I just fell in love with the story, the music, everything. And it was like right around the time when my work schedule was so crazy. So actually Marcus,
it's very irreverent.
It is. It's very irreverent.
But it talks about spiritual topics and
yes, and it's so funny because it talks also about like cults, like quote unquote cults, how we all fall into some kind of a cult, right? Whether it be business or nutrition cults or whatever it is. Like kale is in, everybody, kale is in, and so or coconut water. It's all about coconut water,
which is hilarious because you brought me that face mask and it says something about kale on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so there's a lot of topics in there that speaks to us now. Like you said, it's very irreverent, and I just thought it's relatable. It's very relatable.
Real, yeah.
It's real. It's not, it's masked as like, it's dark comedy, yes, but you're talking about somebody who that could be me, that could be you, and we've all been through there. We've all at a point of our lives felt like, what am I doing with my life, or is this it?
Or how did I get so screwed up?
Exactly. Why am I so effed up? I thought I was awesome and perfect. And then you sort of put yourself in this like check mode, right? You go, I'm going to go to this retreat, or I'm going to go to this thing, and I'm going to become like, I'm going to find my miracle pill. I want to be popular. I want to be beautiful. I want to be smart and pretty and whatever. And like, there's no magic cure for it all. And so this story, this show speaks to, I think, us on all those kind of levels where you think, okay, I don't have the answers. I'm going to look to somebody else for the answer.
Share your dreams with the moon. He is listening. Give your cares to the moon. He hears you.
Just make a wish and put it in the fire. Share the sacred kiss and let your heart run wild. Share it with the man on the moon. Don't be mad about it. Let him wash your cares away.
Share it with the moon.
Open up your heart. We're on our way to a place above the world. We're not afraid to share it with the man on the moon. Don't forget about it. Let him know the dreams you've made.
On this special night,
Here on our astral plane.
your dreams will take flight.
And then what happens at the end is through your coming of age, through your journey, you realize that answer lies in you. And it starts with self-love. It starts with self-care, going back to self-care. And so I'm not going to give anything away, but throughout that process in the story, there's also a lot of shit, basically. Oh, sorry.
You can say
okay, I can say that. It's a podcast. I can say SHIT.
We have the E rating on there.
Oh my gosh, I would have cussed more then.
Do it. Go for it. It's not over.
I was like, really?
Don't feel restrained.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe have another sip of bubbly.
No, I'll do that later. Yeah, and through that journey, it's a lot of through finding yourself in the story. The main character Joy, again sees the love of her life come back into play, and she's confronted with like dilemmas because she's also married, and accidentally there may be like some murders that happen, And it's like, again, you're tying it back to like, in real life, you can't kill people, like, unless you're crazy. But, you think like, man,
You screw up.
exactly, you screw up. And so a lot of it is like, it was so funny. And I'm so sick of I'm not going to name shows because I can't do that, but I can, but I'm not. And going to shows. Yeah, exactly. They're just different shows for different tastes. Right. And I just didn't want to go to another show and just sit there and be like, I just want to go and have fun. I want to go and enjoy the music, and I want to enjoy the story, and I want to enjoy and have a good time and not have to think about anything. And that's how I walked out of this show in April last year. And so Marcus reached out to me while I was on my work tour, and he said, I need you as a producer on this project. And I'm like, I'm slammed right now. Do not reach out till after June. Like, we can talk then. And then he was like, okay, no, you're on this project. And I just love this project so much. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's actually how it all happened. And then when I joined, the show was selected as an official selection of the 2018 New York Musical Festival, which is very prestigious. It would be like being selected by Sundance in entertainment. And I make that comparison since I come from film and TV.
And a lot of people aren't as familiar with it.
Exactly. Like, I have no background. I don't have no background in Broadway. All I have with this project is heart, hustle, and hard work. Mm-hmm. And that's all you need. And now we have this show that's going to be, performing and showcasing at the Montalban Theater in June. So again, it's like, that's how I got involved. And then we had a sold out staged reading event in October at the Belasco Theater in downtown LA, which is amazing.
So explain what a staged reading is for people.
So stage reading is essentially in the sort of theater Broadway, that, that scale, that world. It's like you're going to the show to see a full, when I say full, like you're seeing the entire show from start to end, but instead of acting out face to face, the actors, and having costumes and scenery,
choreography.
Exactly. There's none of that. They have a binder and they sit at a table and they read to you. But we decided to turn it into, with my background as an event producer and my extensive, background and skill sets there, we turned it into this huge event. And so we had activations. And when I say activations, we had local businesses and friends who run business come out and like showcase. We had a tarot card reader. We had a friend who runs Nia Tea, and he does like, he wants people to elevate tea to a different group of folks that don't really know tea. And so it's like Moroccan style, where you have like little bowls, like spice bowls, and you can like touch the tea and smell it. And it's very organic.
Experience.
Exactly. And so we did this whole thing, and we had Melissa with Blue Moon Event Planning, and she came out. And so she promoted her business. So we turned it into like this event, and you're not just coming to a reading, but you can come out and you can interact with people. And we had a photo booth. We had like, open bar. I mean, not open bar, it was paid, but we had a bar available. And so we turned it into this big event. And for our reading, we didn't do it at a table style where you're sitting and the actors are reading to you. We had like minimal choreography. So even though they were reading to you, like to the audience, they still had like hand and body movements. And so it did really well.
And sort of light costume, or at least like
like you can tell like certain people.
Suggestion of things.
Exactly.
Right?
Suggestive. Like they were all wearing blue. All the followers that were following the spiritual guru named Neve, they were all wearing blue. So it was a really cool, and actually it's funny because people asked me,
Did you plan that?
Exactly. How long were you guys planning this for 6 months? I'm like, oh no, we had 3 weeks to do this. We were given one day, and then we did it in 3 weeks. And we were sold out with over 250 people.
One day to perform it, right?
Exactly, which was amazing.
So it was a Monday night in LA.
It was a Monday night in LA, which was literally impossible to get people out in LA to do anything. Let's be real. If it's drizzling, people are like, I don't want to go, it's drizzling. And
or, I don't want to deal with the traffic.
And it's Monday. Anywhere. Yeah, but we were sold out. It was awesome. We had friends, family, colleagues in the industry, just like general people from the public just show up, and just so like appreciated, like humbled by the support. And it just turned out so well. And that was in October. And from there,
October 2018.
Mm-hmm. That's 6 months ago. And then from there, from the people who attended, my colleagues and stuff, from people who saw it, then they helped. The next level was HTI, Hot Tracks, a colleague and good friend of mine, Art, and his company. They were like, hey, we want to help. Like, let's do because we need to get our demos recorded. So we recorded about 50% of our songs. So that was the next step.
Okay.
And then now, in that sort of scale in terms of how Broadway theater works, now we go into workshop production. So the show that we're doing in June is now going into a workshop stage, which is essentially you're watching, again, the same entire show, the whole show, but now we're going to get to act and have choreography. But it's
there's going to be choreography.
There's going to be dancing, yes.
Woo!
But it's very minimal. So there's minimal sets, minimal costumes and all that stuff, because we are not fully budgeted yet to do a full production in terms of like when you go to, like, say, Pantages Theater or something, and there's like a full, we're not there
all
yet.
the sets and all the
exactly. But you'll still see everything. You'll like, see, for example, a bedroom scene. You'll see a bed there.
Right.
There won't be pictures and, whatever, but you'll know it's a bedroom.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so we're like slowly, we've actually in the last year moved very fast.
You have.
Very fast, yeah. And that comes from the hustle, the hard work, the no sleeping. It's just, and also friends, colleagues introducing us to the next person. And it's one call leads to another call leads to another call, so everything happens for a reason, but it also happens because you're putting in the work.
Right.
Yep.
Opportunities happen when you're putting in the work.
Exactly.
Right? And then it's like what the Oprah thing, or I don't know that she made it up, but luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's really good because it's Oprah.
Cheers to Oprah.
Cheers to Oprah. Yes.
Come on the show.
Cheers.
So I'm really excited because I didn't get to be there for that first event because I hadn't.
I wish, but right? You reached out.
But I reached out.
I love people like Tiffany because I think it was the day after, or it was the day of, and I think you probably, I don't know how you found me, but you reached out to. Yeah, you reached out to our Instagram, and again, just the general public, which I love. And Tiffany reached out and said, "Oh my gosh, you guys look like you're having a lot of fun. I want to talk to the woman who's in charge." Me. I think you actually reached out, and I think Marcus answered and then forwarded it to me. But
who's like, "This message is for you."
Yeah, this is intended for a woman. So yeah, no, I'm excited. You're going to be there, and Tiffany has been doing awesome outreach for us too, and just so cool.
And I'm so excited because while I wasn't there for the first show, I got to watch the recording of it. And I've gotten to listen to the music, and I just keep finding more and more things I like about it. And that's all without even really having the script right behind it.
Exactly.
So in the show you did before, there was some narration, but
yep. So
there's still a lot of gaps to fill.
There's so the stage reading had a narrator because they weren't doing choreography and they weren't acting it out. I mean, to each other. Mm-hmm. So we had a narrator.
They're all basically standing in a line, almost like a chorus line at a
exactly. They're reading. It's like sort of like your reading session, and they read the whole story to you. And so narrator dictates, like, okay, now Tiffany and Linda are at a forest,
right? Setting the scene.
Exactly. They're painting the picture. Versus if you have a set and you have a stage and all that stuff, then you can tell there's a forest because there's trees and there's animal creatures and running around. So yeah, we won't have a narrator this time around. We're going into basically it's your mini production.
Okay.
But it's called quote unquote workshop.
And then what happens from the workshop?
So from there, we have important people, investors and fellow producers that are going to come to the show, which is awesome. And then they'll see it. And hopefully that's essentially from there, we're hoping to get investors, and the goal is to get money for full production so we can go to Broadway.
I can't wait to be there on opening night.
But I said it, and I'll say it again. I said it at the Belasco show, and I don't remember anything from Belasco because I was so exhausted. I hadn't slept in 3 days. And the only thing I remember that is still in my head, I said, do or die, we're going to Broadway.
I remember that too because I watched it.
Exactly. So that's the only thing I will say is that I don't care when, but we're going to get there. For sure.
So exciting. And I think one of the things you did, right, was you gave the audience a survey after you did that for feedback.
We did. And since then, so since October, the script has evolved at least another 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
And between October and now, we've also had a small, private, intimate table read for industry execs, which was like 20, 30 people. And it went really well. And then from there, Marcus change the script again. And a lot of it is the beginning, the intro, and seeing what works. Sometimes on paper, it sounds and it looks really great. Like I've read versions where I'm like, wow, this is even better. But then when it plays out in real life, it just doesn't have that same effect. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you're watching, when you have like Fox just did, I think, was it Rent Live? And then they did like Grease Live and whoever the studios did. But sometimes you just don't get that same effect watching it in person. when it's live theater versus watching it on television. It just has a different effect.
Okay.
So yeah, we went through variations of the script, and I think we're very happy where it is now.
And now will people have the opportunity to give feedback after the June 29th show?
Yep, we're going to have surveys available, and we're going to have it inside our playbills. And so people can, after the show ends, if they can fill it out, and we'll make an announcement on site too. But that'd be great because it'll help us continuously evolve and develop this project. Yeah.
I'm so excited. And so for anybody who's interested and wants to know more about it, Peace, Love, and Wine, I'm calling this the unofficial fan podcast,
yes, please,
of Accidental Joy. So you want to know about that show, you listen to this show. So we're going to do a little sort of meet and greet meetup ahead of time at this 70s bar nearby.
Yeah, good. There's a lot of bars and restaurants in the heart of Hollywood. So I guess I can explain about, so the show, the workshop production event and show that we're doing is on Saturday, June 29th. At 8 p.m. at the Montalban Theater in Los Angeles or in Hollywood. And it's on Vine. So you're right across from the Pantages Theater. There's tons of bars and restaurants around the area. So I'm make it a girls' night, make it a night, make it, an event. Everybody come out and eat, drink, and then come see the show. It's going to be, we have everything from drag queens to aliens in our show. So it's going to be so much fun.
I didn't know there were drag queens.
But we have a drag queen now. So we're very inclusive, and it's going to be so much fun.
Oh, I can't wait. So yes, if you're interested, I'll put the information in the show notes for the tickets. But again, accidentaljoymusical.com. In the upper right, there's a red box that says tickets where you can grab your tickets.
Yep.
They're super affordable for a show like this. Again, it's a workshop production, so it's a little different.
And Tiffany is going to mention, or I can mention for you, but there's a special promo code JOY5.
Oh.
JOY number 5.
Joy5.
Yeah.
Okay, new promo code.
There you go.
So yes, if you're interested in sort of getting a more in-depth behind the scenes, just really connecting as human beings and then enjoying the show, we'll be doing that through my meetup. So if you look at meetup.com, Peace, Love, and Wine, we'll be doing a show there or an event there. And I think it's called Wine, a Musical, and Enlightenment.
There you go.
So that's the name of the event. So we'll be going ahead of time to meet for some drinks and good conversation, and then we'll walk over to the theater. So
yeah, walk,
really fun.
Because it's Hollywood, and
I've already mapped out some parking options too. So those are in the
there is a parking space right next to the theater to the right, but
which it's probably we can park there and then
just walk around.
Walk both.
Yep.
So yeah, so this will be super fun. I'm all about. We're just gonna get our groove on. I'm gonna wear my glitter. And
yes, glitter
and all things sparkly.
We're gonna have a disco ball. Spoiler alert. On stage.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I just said it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to wear my
glitter.
shiny hair tassels and glitter.
There you go.
So yeah, I think it's all about being you, having fun.
That's the whole theme of the story is be you.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually what I say. I should trademark this. I go, do you, boo. Do you.
I feel like somebody probably has already done that.
I know, but it's the LJ version.
It is.
It's my version.
It is. And so can I say my favorite line in the show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Neve Lapel is this
She's the guru,
lady, right?
Yep.
Who's sort of retiring and has been designated the guru from Aliens in the Forest,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's this line where this other guy is trying to take her spot, and he's all meh. And he says, fuck Neve right in her ass chakra, right? I don't know why. I just find that to be the funniest line in the show.
Funny, yeah.
Because it's so harsh and raw, and yet so hilarious, right?
So you'll get more of that.
No, it's not ass, it's the root chakra, and then that just makes it more hilarious.
Right.
So yes.
So you get more of that at the show.
Yes. Cool. And not only is it a fun show and a sort of raw and naughty show, but you have great people in the cast as well.
My gosh. Yeah, can we talk about the cast and the group so let's put it out there. Everyone, they are hardworking, professionals. They are all professionals in their craft. They're actors. They have jobs. Everyone doing this is donating their time and services, and this wouldn't have been possible from not just us on a creative end, but everybody just coming together. And I think that's the beauty of the industry, right? Is to get there, we all have to donate our time and services. And I think people outside of it who don't know how this comes about is like, they think, wow, you have this amazing show. It must have cost a lot of money. Yeah, it did. But it also, this is from people that have that same passion.
Yeah,
we want it, exactly. Right? We want it to succeed. So I'm like, thank you to all the actors. This is our third variation. So when I started, it was we call it Team Joy 1.0. They were the first group. And then, not everyone has stayed through the entire, because again, schedules don't work out, things don't work out. So then we had Team Joy 2.0, which was the group that did the October Belasco show. And now we're going into Team Joy 3.0. So we have such amazing talent in Los Angeles, and we're so excited to have this new group. And we have veterans and new. So that will be part of the Montalban show.
I'm so excited, and I wish you the best, and I can't wait to be a part of it and offer my support in any way.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Yay. Anything else you'd like to share on the show today for particularly women who might be listening?
Just keep whatever your passion, whatever your goals, dreams are, just keep at it and know that it takes time. It takes time. And when you think you figured it out, there's always a curveball, but just be open to it, be open to change, and whatever your goals are, you'll get there. And no one's perfect.
Nobody can do it alone.
You can. Oh yeah, exactly. You cannot do it alone. Please ask for help if you need help. That was one of my biggest lessons.
There's a line in Chicago about that.
Is there?
You simply cannot do it.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, I promise not to sing anymore. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward. We'll be doing another episode and possibly many more to follow. So congratulations on accomplishing episode number 1.
Cheers to that. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everybody. Please go grab your tickets and support local theater and help us get to Broadway. I'm a part of it.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Bye.
There's nothing you can say, there's nothing left to prove when you follow the still voice inside of you. Winning, rolling the dice, dream with wide open eyes. It's your stride, now you are the prize. When all